Here we go. Welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is...
Bilaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And we got some stuff. We've got PlayStation Plus games for July. We've got Games with Gold for July. We've got Dragon Ball Fighter Z, Marvel Infinite, and Street Fighter X developers. New game going to be at EVO. Details on the XCOM 2 expansion, Reaper class, and a whole other bunch of stuff. And then we got Modern Warfare Remastered, standalone, released, and it's still a shit show. Before we get into that, let's talk about what we played this week. So two things. The big thing that I finally got to play was Warhammer 40k 8th edition.
Oh, 8th edition?
8th edition. So...
Oh, 8th edition.
Yeah, 8th edition. Sorry. So the new edition came out, and it's basically a rebalancing of all the new rules, and so far I'm really, really enjoying it. I think it's a really, really good update to the game, because I got in at 7th edition, right?
Okay.
And even though I had a lot of fun playing 40k, I could not deny that 7th edition as a whole was a shit show. Because it just got so completely unbalanced, and it got to the point where, like, basically it became a game that's like no matter what you did, there were so many overpowered combos that you could do that people would just rely on. The Necrons were just ridiculous because they essentially got double the saves. So that was always really crazy about 7th edition. Overall, they made 8th edition... Well, first off, they made 8th edition a lot more easier to play, in the sense where they trimmed down a lot of the rules that just made the games feel longer, right? So, like, there's rules for, like, when you move your units into cover. There's a whole separate system for vehicles in 7th edition. Whereas, basically, in 8th edition, they trimmed that all out. They trimmed out a lot of the stuff that just made the game extra complicated, you know, and just added more time to the games. Okay. And they streamlined it a little. Some people say that some people are complaining that they feel like 8th edition is dumbed down, but I really don't think it is. I feel like this is more of them just kind of like trimming off the fat, you know, trimming off the stuff that didn't really need to be there and didn't really make the games any more strategic or fun, you know. Yeah. So I think they did a really good job with that, and I'm enjoying it a lot. Played a game with my friend, and it was fun. It's a little bit of a downside, though, because the Necrons are so overpowered in 7th, I really liked playing as them. And but now they're not... They're balanced now. They're balanced. They're not overpowered. I hear that some people are complaining that actually they feel like the Necrons are actually underpowered in comparison to the other factions at the moment. But I still think they're powerful. They're just definitely a lot weaker, like, in comparison to what they were in 7th. And the other thing I played this game called Night in the Woods. And it's an indie title that came out a couple months ago. And it's sort of like an adventure platformer game. You know, you walk around, you talk to characters, you solve puzzles kind of thing. But it's really, really interesting.
Yes, hell.
Sorry?
I said it looks trippy as hell.
It's a little bit trippy. Well, you're looking at art from like it's a cat? It's a cat? Yeah. It's a bunch of animals. It's really interesting because it plays a bit like a Persona game.
Oh, really?
In which you're coming back from college, you're a college dropout, and you're going to go live with your parents for the next couple months because you got nothing better to do. And you spend every day, you wake up, and then you go talk to you go talk to your friends who are other characters in the game, and then, you know, after you're done talking with them, you can choose to end the day with a certain event, and then you start a new day. So you can miss dialogue options, you can miss a couple different things, but the game, it has a really interesting, like, sense of humor. Like, it's very different. It's very different than like. It's very different than the typical humor I'm used to, and I actually really kind of enjoy it. And it's interesting because there's a lot of key themes in the game that I think are really cool. Like, it's clear that one of the key themes is about life and death in general.
Okay. And
how I guess it's just like this, how life and death can be perceived from a younger audience or a younger age set in which they don't know how to feel about it. You know how like when you think about when you were a teenager, how you used to think about life and death in general compared to when you think about it as an adult. You know.
Okay.
So it's very interesting. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I'm very happy. I'm very interested to play more because I know that there's apparently a twist that happens halfway through the game. So I'm very interested to see what that twist is. But that's pretty much what I played this week. What about you, Fawaz?
So I'm actually just coming back from a tournament in Montreal. There was a big Guilty Gear tournament that happened there over the Canada Day. So I took a quick trip, and I did okay actually. I was actually just showing Tanner some of the footage before.
That first round you did was pretty good. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, I got it really bad. I got seeded really, really badly. I played against probably the best player in Montreal in literally my first game, and I played against a couple of really good players. So that kind of sucked, but it was fun. It was fun, and I did okay. But I guess what I've been playing was Guilty Gear. I've just been practicing my LFL, trying to make sure she was up to snuff, trying to get all my setups down and all that stuff. I didn't win. So but I saw progress, which is what it's all about, really. Other than that, though, I've mostly just been playing Gwent. Excuse me. I've mostly just been playing Gwent. I'm waiting for the new patch to hit. I've been having a bit of a class crisis, but I finally settled on Nilfgaard. That is the last faction that they introduced. The deck that I play, its main thing is that it thins really, really well. So you thin your deck down, then it has a couple of abilities that let you see the top 3 cards on your deck. So you thin your deck down to like six cards left, and then you know exactly what cards are in your deck, and then you can plan your plays that way. It's not very strong right now. It was really strong last patch, so they nerfed the shit out of it. So it's not very great right now, but it's a deck I like playing the most. I used to be a monster player, but they nerfed. It's not they nerfed monsters. Monsters are still really strong, but like the new monsters, I don't like the way it plays, so I really don't feel like committing to it. I also play a little bit of Skellige, but Skellige is like completely overpowered right now. So that's fun because every time I get a Skellige card in a pack, I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to give me full scraps in about a week.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, that's mainly what I've been playing this week. It was mostly just Gwent. Because I took some time off Gwent. It was mostly just Gwent, but then there was the Guilty Gear thing. Over the weekend. Yeah.
All right, cool. So you want to reveal the PlayStation Plus games of July?
Yeah, sure. Get excited, people! It's a really good month. That was sarcasm, by the way. It's not a bad month. So anyway, the games are Until Dawn, which I've heard a lot of good things about.
It's a good game. I watched a full playthrough of the game, and I actually think it's a really, really good game for what it is. Like as a kind of like the movie game, it's probably one of the better ones out there.
Okay, and then Game of Thrones, which I've also heard good things about, but I always have this trepidation about Telltale games because I heard good things about The Walking Dead, but I hated that. So with that said, the fact that you're playing a house that doesn't actually exist in the world of Game of Thrones gives me a little bit of faith and hope that your decisions will actually matter and like members of your house can die and shit like that. Because if I'm playing the game and I'm trying to think of a Game of Thrones character that's still alive, and I run it to Daenerys Targaryen.
Yeah.
I know no decision I make is going to kill her. They're not going to kill off Dany
Especially since you know that the timeline, because the timeline in that game is kind of interesting, in which it's in between seasons. So I mean, like that there's going to be certain characters that show up. It's like, well, I can't kill you. Like there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. However, your house is free reign, and I can tell you there is something that can happen in the first episode that happened with me that I was like, oh boy, I really screwed up. Oh boy.
Then the other games are Tokyo Jungle for the PS3, Darkstalkers Resurrection, Elemental, that's with 4 instead of an A for the Vita, and Don't Die, Mr. Robot for the Vita, cross-buy on the PS4. So it's an okay month. Nothing to like blow your socks off, but it's also a decent month. There's a couple of playable games. As far as Xbox Live games with gold are concerned, it's a down month as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we get Grow Up, which is the sequel to Grow Home, the Ubisoft game that we got for free on the PS4, and I never played. Then we have Runbow, Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days, which isn't bad, I guess.
No, I disagree. Kane and Lynch 2 is a dog shit game.
Are you sure it's not a Dog Days game?
Oh, you. No, Kane and Lynch 2 is really bad. It is really, really, really bad. And I mean, if you want to try it out on Xbox Live, go right ahead, but it's bad. The final boss of that game is probably one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen.
I have heard that the game, there's just a lot of suffering in the game, and it's just very, very difficult to play through certain areas. I've heard the game can get pretty dark.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that it feels trashy, you know. Like it feels like they're doing that because they want. Oh, we're gonna make you feel for this scene, and it's like, no, you're just doing it to shock people. There's a difference because for me, like that's a big thing that I always hated when games do, or not even games, but just games or movies or TV shows or whatever. Is that when something really like shocking or controversial happens, and you feel that it wasn't because it fit the story or the narrative or like the moment or the character. You just did this for the shock value.
Yeah.
And that sucks. And that's what Kane and Lynch 2 Dog Days is in a nutshell.
Okay. So so avoid Kane and Lynch Dog Days too. But all in all, it's a decent month. Honestly, I'm not renewing my PlayStation Plus. It's not even just like that the lists have been, they haven't been terrible, but they haven't been great. Is that like I just don't play I haven't played a PlayStation Plus game in a long time, and I haven't finished a PlayStation Plus game since Guacamelee. I think that came out 2 years ago. Yeah, like I'm paying $50 a month to play online. But then I'm looking at the list of Gwent. Will I need PlayStation Plus to play Gwent online?
I assume you would, and also Overwatch. So
yeah,
let's say you're paying $50 for Gwent and Overwatch, essentially.
Yeah, because my thought process was that I don't play Overwatch that much anymore. I mainly only play during events, so I'll just buy like a month when the event starts, and then as the event finishes, my month finishes, and then I'll go back into High League. But I guess we'll see. I just make sure that auto renew isn't on, and then I'll actually come to a decision when the time comes. But PlayStation Plus and games with gold.
Kind of average overall for both parties.
Very average overall. What's a little over average, above average, that's the word I was looking for, is the announcement of a bunch of really cool games that are coming to EVO this year. So EVO Evolution Championship Series is in about a week and a half, I want to say.
Yeah.
And we just got news that Dragon Ball Fighters is gonna be there. It's gonna be there. Well, I mean, this is not surprising.
Yeah.
Everyone knew it was going to be there. It's gonna be fully playable. It's going to have the Trunks build or later. So at the very least, there's going to be 7 characters in the build, maybe even more. Probably going to be more. I'd be surprised if Evo came and they didn't announce any new characters, right? It's probably going to be Trunk build or later. And they're going to have a tournament. Yeah, so they're having a side tournament, 128-man tournament. It's completely free for anybody who is at Evo. And yeah, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to seeing competent gameplay of the game. It's just going to be a small tournament. They gave them a few setups to use with demo copies, with demo builds of the game on it, and they did the same thing for Tekken 7 last year. So yeah,
Yeah.
this is fun, and I'm excited. Then this game by Arika were the developers of Street Fighter EX, the Street Fighter EX series on the PS2. So they announced their next game on April 1st. Everyone thought it was an April's Fool's joke, but apparently it's a real game, and it's going to be at EVO as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we haven't heard anything about this game since April, so it's going to be interesting to see just how far along it is. At the time, they were like that the video that they showed was a proof of concept, and they were looking for a publisher.
Right.
But the fact that it's going to be at EVO, I don't know. It kind of I don't know if it means that they found a publisher or if they're still looking for one. But hey,
it sounds like maybe they were looking for a publisher because they want to add more to the game, or they don't have the game 100% finished. Like they have like a certain amount of characters in the roster, but they want to add more. They want to add more maps or music or whatnot. It sounds like a game that's like, from what I've been hearing, it sounds like a game that's like 70-60% complete, and they need a publisher to help finish that, or at least distribute it.
Yeah. So there's that. That's coming, and then finally, in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is, to the surprise of absolutely no one, it's going to be playable at EVO. I mean, the game is launching 2 months after EVO, maybe even like a month and a half. So I would have been very, very, very surprised if Capcom skipped out on this event. But honestly, at this point, I think I'm going to skip out on this game. I've been doing it. I've been thinking about it a lot, and the game is. Everyone that's played it has said that the game is fun, right? Period.
Yeah.
But for me, it's not about the game. It's about the principle for me, and that's why I think I can't support this game. It's lazy. Like, no matter how you cut it, this is a lazy game. Like, for all my criticisms of Street Fighter 5, at the very least, I looked at the roster. Right, one of the reasons why I never bought Street Fighter Cross Tekken was because the roster was lazy. The Street Fighter side were all just copy pasted from Street Fighter 4. They like literally every single character. I mean they added some DLC characters who eventually made their way to Street Fighter 4, but at the time they were in Street Fighter 4. But yeah, when the game launched, like every single Capcom character was from Street Fighter 4 with a very, very similar move list, similar assets, all that stuff. And it just reeked of laziness,
Yeah.
And I feel the same thing with this game. So, I'm pretty sure I'll buy the game and I'll enjoy it, but there'll always be that asterisk next to my enjoyment where I'm like, this is a shadow of the game that we could have gotten.
Yeah.
And like I said,
the way that it kind of feels, it doesn't really feel like a proper sequel to Marvel 3. It feels like it kind of feels like a pseudo it feels like just another one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
which is really disappointing because, like I said, I was really excited, and they've absolutely killed all my excitement for this game. And like it's funny because, like, for me, it's the principle on two levels, right? So first of all, Marvel, I don't appreciate the fact that Marvel are pretty much ignoring the X-Men, a franchise that is largely responsible for a lot of their success. I mean, sure, now they're eating off the Avengers and the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy and all that stuff. But the X-Men saved them in the 90s. Jim Lee's X-Men is part of the reason why Marvel is Marvel. And the fact that they're just like, because for me, they can't put the X-Men in this game. They just don't want to. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I can't buy this game. I just won't. So that's pretty much how it's going.
Yeah.
How it's going for me. So that's the Marvel side. Then on the Capcom side, I'm just mad at Capcom for pretty much half-assing another video game. So no, I won't be buying it.
Yeah. No, honestly, most of my excitement just moved to Dragon Ball FighterZ because that's more my speed. And like, if I'm thinking about fighting games that I'm gonna personally get, like I would personally buy. What would I buy? Well, I'm probably gonna buy Dragon Ball Fighter Z, and I'm probably gonna buy Persona 5 Arena because I know that's coming. So yeah, so I already have two fighters that I know I'm gonna pick up, and honestly, I play fighters on and off, you know. So like the last I it's hard. It's like last night I played a bunch of ARMS with one of my friends, right? So I like playing those, like a fighter where it's like, okay, if it's like a simple fighter that someone I can just, hey, have a control, let's just have some fun, you know. Then I can justify that purchase. Whereas if it's a you know, a very serious fighter in which it's like get good, I can't justify it unless there's something else to it, you know. I have to I have to like how the game looks and the aesthetic, or I have to like just the characters themselves enough. So, and I really want to play as Perfect Cell. I really, really want to play as Perfect Cell.
That would perfect. Perfect. Oh yeah, sorry. One last bit of news. I actually just looked this up. Another fighting game that you might be interested in is showing up at EVO, and that's Dissidia Final Fantasy.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it got a North. I don't know if it got a North American release date, but it got confirmation that it was coming to North America recently, coming to PS4 in North America recently. So I don't know. No release date. Q1, Q2, 2018. But yeah, it's confirmed that it's coming to PS4 and it's coming to North America. So I guess they're gonna show it off at EVO to try to build up some hype for the game. And yeah, you know, I know how excited you are to play that game.
Yeah, you know? Yeah. I swear to God, if Lightning hits finals, I'm gonna get fucking pissed. You know who I want to see? You know what I want in that game? I don't know if it's in it or not, but I want to be like, whenever Titus wins a match, he does his laugh. That's what I want. That's what I want, because that would be fucking radical.
You know what if we both end up getting this game, you know I'm gonna main Lightning just to piss you off, right?
Cancel this whole fucking channel. But that's Evo. That's Evo news. But we got some more news. We got XCOM 2 news and a bunch of details about the Reaper class, the Templar class, and the other one whose name I don't know.
Yeah, so Eurogamer recently sat down with whatever they developed
Firaxis.
Yeah, and they had a long chat. So they gave us a bunch of details. Okay, so first of all, they released a trailer showing one of the new classes that we can recruit called the Reaper. And the Reaper's main gimmick is that they don't break concealment when they shoot. So how it's going to work is that when you bring one of them with you, your squad doesn't break concealment. Every single shot you take increases the odds of concealment. Increases the odds that the next shot will break concealment or whatever. Increases the odds of concealment being broken, but it's not guaranteed.
Right.
You know, so that's pretty cool. Then they have a couple of other things, like they've got they can manually detonate explosives. They have this one ability where they stick a bomb to an enemy, and then any of your teammates can shoot that bomb and set it off. They have some pretty cool abilities. However, what's really interesting, they released a trailer for this, but then Eurogamer sat down and spoke with them, and then they gave Eurogamer some details on the other two classes. Now, it was like, it's just a video of this one guy talking, so, you know, some of these details are subject to change. Yeah. But one of the other classes, I forget their name, first of all, they're made up of people who defected from Advent. Advent defectors. Yeah, Advent defectors, so that's pretty cool. But their thing is taking extra actions, right? So they, for example, they're Overwatch, whereas normal units, you put them into Overwatch and enemy moves, and they take a shot. These dudes' Overwatch is going to be 2 actions, right? So you can move and shoot, reload and shoot, throw a grenade, stuff like that. So that's one thing. And 2, they are, when you level them up enough, they gain the Alien Ruler's ability, to attack on the enemy's turn, which is pretty cool. We'll see how they balance it out and stuff. But speaking of the alien rulers, actually, they're getting tweaked. So that ability is being nerfed. They're making it so that it doesn't activate. So for those that don't know, how the alien rulers used to work was every action that you took, the alien rulers would take an action. And when we say every action, we mean every single action you took. So if you moved, they would move or attack. If you reloaded, they would move or attack or use one of the abilities. Anything you did, if it cost an action. So there's certain abilities that don't cost actions, like there's this
lightning hand. Lightning hand doesn't cost an action.
Yeah, lightning hand doesn't cost an action. There's this throwing axe that you have that doesn't cost an action. Those wouldn't proc them. But if it costs an action, if you do it, they're going to do something. So they're changing that, and they're making it so that they only react to you moving and shooting. I think they're gonna reduce the number of things that they react to. So reloading, for example, they won't react to that anymore. I'm sure we'll get a full-on trailer or something with all the details of the stuff. But just know that that's coming. The other things that's changing is that the alien rulers. So how it used to work was there's an opening mission. When you go on this mission, you fight the Snake King, the Viper King, whatever his name is. Once you fought the Viper King, on a random mission, any mission, I don't know if they can show up on retaliation missions, but I know they can show up on anything else. Any other mission, you can just go on the mission, and the alien ruler will just randomly show up. Yeah. And it was particularly brutal on missions with timers.
Yes.
So they're changing that now. How it's going to work is that after you've activated them, there'll be specific alien facilities. That's the word I was looking for. The specific alien facilities that, when you raid them, there'll be an alien ruler waiting for you there, guarding that facility. Now, this is good for multiple reasons. One is that you can prepare yourself going in, okay, I'm fighting an alien ruler. Let's get all our stuff together. Let's make sure everyone is healthy. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Versus, okay, I just need to get by this mission. All my main guys are in the infirmary, but I just need to, do this council mission. Oh shit, it's the Berserker Queen.
And I can give you an example of how I had the Berserker Queen completely fuck up one of my missions, which was basically I had a VIP.
Oh no.
And I had to escort this VIP up a building, and guess what? I had 2 turns to do this. And here's the problem. Every time I move, the Berserker Queen gets to move or do an attack.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a VIP mission, it was double, it was absolutely terrible. Because, there's other missions in which all you have to do is, kill, assassinate the enemy, general or whatever, target. What was the other one? Or, destroy the radio battery thing, right?
Yeah.
Or hack something. And those ones are hard, but they're doable. With the VIP one, the fact that I got the Berserker Queen in the VIP one that requires you to move quickly across the map, I was screwed. I was so utterly screwed, and that's why I had to mod it. I had to restart and mod those out because I was so frustrated with that mission.
So yeah, I always make fun of Tanner because I killed the Berserker Queen the turn I ran into her. But realistically speaking, I think that the alien rulers needed to get toned down. The fact that you cannot place them until you have tier 3 equipment is just, it's not, because I feel like they were poorly balanced, because Tanner did not have, neither of us had fun with the alien rulers. Tanner got ruined by them, and I ruined them. In both cases, neither of us had fun, right? It's supposed to be a decent challenge, but then at the same time,
I had fun fighting the Snake King. The Snake King I thought was strong, but it felt like I could take him. I could actually beat him.
Yeah.
But the Berserker Queen, I didn't have a fucking chance.
Yeah, the Archon was pretty bad too.
Yeah.
The Archon was the tough. No. The Viper King was the toughest for me on my squad because I was still getting used to the mechanics. So, for example, there was this one situation where I had the Viper King, but then I was like, okay, cool, let me move my Ranger closer to get a better shot. Then I move him closer, and then he attacks, and I'm like, oh shit. So I'm still getting used to the mechanics, but with the Berserker Queen, I just like because I mean, first of all she's melee, right? So we spotted her when she was like down the line. So by the time she got to us, we had like ruined half of her health. Then she gets to us and I just freeze her. I had like extra frost grenades, just freeze her, just murdered her, you know. And then like I said, I had tier 3 equipment, so all that extra health doesn't really matter when your rangers are hitting for like 13 damage per shot and you're taking 2 shots a turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I completely agree with these changes. I don't think they were very well balanced. I think they were poorly designed, and I'm glad that they're changing them. I'll also change those costumes that you get for killing them, because the snake costume looks like pajamas.
The snake one looks super stupid, but I will say that what I did like is that you could take off the helmet.
It still looks stupid.
It still looks stupid, but once I took off the helmet and I replaced it with one of my modded helmets, I was like, okay, this doesn't look that bad. But it was still really goofy, regardless.
Yeah.
The Archon one and the Berserker Queen one, I think, are all right. The Archon one looks the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Archon one is beautiful. The Berserker Queen one is okay, and then the Snake King one is terrible.
It looks stupid.
To the point where I didn't even want to wear it, because I was like, okay, sure, this gives me an advantage, but this looks like shit. So...
Well, I rolled with it. I had a character. He had bright red snake costume, and he had a pink gun.
Oh my God.
So I made him look extra stupid, because it's like, okay, if you're already gonna look stupid, we gotta make this like extra stupid.
You know what? No half measures. Right?
No half measures.
But yeah. Oh, and then the last class are the Templars. We didn't get too much info on them. They're mainly psionic, as you probably deduce from a name like Templars. Yeah. They use a lot of melee weapons, their thing is that they get this thing called focus that increases their damage and their movement range, and they can take 2 slices per turn. And every time you kill an enemy, you gain more focus, and then you can use focus to use some of their abilities, or you can save it up to just get like passive bonuses. So that's the thing. They all of them sound pretty cool. They haven't given us too much info on how you're going to be recruiting them, but because you have to recruit these people to join your cause. And we don't have too much info on how you level them up. What the impression I've gotten from the screens I've seen is that you gain these points. Let's just call them action points. So once you level up the units, you have to then take them back to the Avenger and use your action points to unlock new skills. So it's not like the old people. It's not your regular soldiers who, once you hit a certain rank, you automatically get a choice. Here, you have to hit that rank, and then you have to use action points to unlock specific things. But like I said, some of this might be subject to change, because this was just said offhand. So this is second hand, you know, that I'm giving. Yeah. I heard it from a guy who heard it from a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, all in all, you know, it's looking like a beautiful expansion. I'm thinking what they're going to do is that it's gonna work exactly like Enemy Within. That you have to. It affects the entire game, but you have to switch. You can't. You have to activate it when you're starting your playthrough.
Oh yeah. Like I think like it's gonna be something where it's like, do you want to play the original XCOM 2 with no add-ons, or do you want to play the Enemy Within rework?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how they're going to work it, but we don't know yet. We're still figuring things out. But looking forward to checking this out.
Yeah, no, overall looks really, really cool, and I'm really excited for it. I just thought about something. Like, you remember you said that you had the most trouble with the Snake King. It's like, yeah, you, after watching some of those episodes, you certainly have a lot of trouble with those snakes. Particularly that one that hid behind the truck.
Oh my, don't even get me started. Like, no spoilers, but I haven't gotten that angry at a video game since Hearthstone.
Oh, that was so funny.
I was so mad.
I was laughing. The part that killed me was the car exploding. That was the part that killed me, because you got so silent, and I could tell that you were just ready to punch your monitor.
Because, okay. So I will tell you exactly what happened, but one of my soldiers, who might be listening to this podcast, missed 280% shots. Okay. And then another one of my soldiers misses 290% shots. And then bad things happen because of these four things. So after because it's funny because you can I rewatched it, and you can progressively hear me getting angrier.
Yeah.
You know, the first shot he misses, I'm like, whatever, that's XCOM, baby, it happens. Second shot he misses, I'm like, okay. Then that dude misses 90%. I'm like, okay, this is kind of unfortunate. Then we're in that situation where I absolutely need him to hit this, and then he misses that, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I just started yelling. I was like, what am I supposed to do?
Oh god, that was the best.
So yeah.
Watch that playthrough. It's fantastic. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was thanking you. We'll just move on to our next point. Something that's a little less fantastic than an XCOM 2 playthrough. So I can't remember when Modern Warfare Remastered was announced.
Mm-hmm.
What side were we on? Because I know we disagreed on whether or not it was going to get released as a standalone game, but I can't remember who thought it would and who thought it wouldn't.
You thought it wouldn't. You thought it wouldn't, and I was like, this feels like it's gonna go standalone after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, well, you were right. After 9 months, it's gone standalone, and somehow they still found a way to screw this up. So, the game is going to be standalone. It's going to cost $40. So you're paying $40 for a 10-year-old game, if my math is correct. But that's
why
not,
40 with like $20 would make sense. Like it's like $20 is the most I would expect. 40? Really?
$40. That's not the best part.
Yeah.
Here's the best part. On top of paying $40 for a standalone game, the DLC is not included.
Yeah, I know. I heard about that. The DLC map packs are not included, which is
you still have to pay an extra $15 for the DLC.
It's the stupidest thing in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, so for all my criticisms of Bethesda for what they did with Skyrim, and they deserve every bit of those criticisms, this is even worse. Okay, is this actually worse? Because even with the DLC, this actually costs less. But yeah, Skyrim.
No, this is worse because one, the game flat out shouldn't be $40. It should be $20. Even if it's a remaster, it should be $20. And then the fact of the matter is that you also have to understand they actually kind of went back and fucked up Modern Warfare because there are microtransactions in this game now.
Yeah, they added microtransactions.
Yeah.
Actually, I
feel for me, that's what is the killing point here because it's like, at the very least, when Skyrim got remastered and re-released, they didn't actively return to the game and fuck it up. Like they just re-released it.
Yeah.
Whereas Activision did.
Oh! I just found something out. Like literally, as we're recording this podcast, I'm just gonna read the headline. Non-standalone Modern Warfare Remastered still requires Infinite Warfare disc.
Wait, what? How?
So one sec, because I'm confused right now. So I'm just gonna read this. I'm gonna read this out for you guys. With Activision announcing the unsurprising move to release Call of Duty blah 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 as a standalone game, how the original title would finally be able to blah 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 blah. As it turns out, Legacy Pro, Digital Legacy, and Digilox Edition purchasers of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare who still want to access Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered will need to keep their Infinite Warfare game disc or download in order to access the remaster. In spite of Modern Warfare Remastered status as a standalone title, those who access the game via Infinite Warfare will not be granted the freedom to play the game without its little brother. Okay, that's not
too bad because it's essentially you bought the version that was stapled on already.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I understand that. For a moment, I thought it was like, you buy the standalone and it says like, we'd like you to play the standalone, but first you need to buy Infinite Warfare.
I'm like, you guys don't understand what standalone means, do you?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just one last paragraph. This is bound to be disappointing for those who bought a special edition of Infinite Warfare, but who have perhaps tired of the main game and would only like to keep the remastered around. Indeed, given that these early players committed a lot of money to play Modern Warfare Remastered, some might feel that they at least deserve the same flexibility as those who pick up the game as a standalone release. I disagree with this. I'm like, if you give Activision your money, here's the thing. Activision is the devil. Like, there's no, we've established this. Everyone knows this. If you make a deal with the devil, okay, you have no one but yourself to blame when you get burnt.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like this is a situation where it's like I do feel bad for people who did buy Infinite Warfare and they can't just have Modern Warfare as a standalone now. But it's also like you chose to buy that version of the game. Like you made that decision, you made that call, and now you kind of have to. Unfortunately, you do have to regret that call. And I remember we were telling people, don't. This game is not going to be worth it. Like it's not going to be worth it because we knew that the standalone was coming. It just sucks that the standalone is too expensive.
Yeah.
That's.
But I'm actually being a little facetious there. I don't genuinely think the people who bought this are like completely at fault. Obviously, Activision deserves their fault because this is bullshit. But with that said, I'm like at this point you have to. You look, it's like me with Capcom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, Capcom has screwed me over a lot. So I'm not going to let them screw me over anymore. I'm not going to give them more of my money because me giving them money is what got us in this position. So, yeah, like I can only feel so sorry for them because, you know, at the end of the day, in spite of all of that, Infinite Warfare, in fact, in spite of Infinite Warfare being a shit game, it's still outsold Battlefield 1. Mm-hmm. I just got to, reiterate that. Just throwing that out there. But...
oh, God, just a shit show. I really wish they just could have remastered this properly because it's like Call of Duty 4 is a fantastic game.
It's a fantastic game. Unfortunately, sorry, you aren't done.
No. What were you gonna say?
Call of Duty 4 is like the Resident Evil 4 of what is it with 4s? Call of Duty 4 is like the Resident Evil 4 of the Call of Duty franchise, or first-person shooters in general. It is arguably the best one, but it's also the reason why the franchise is in the shitter right now.
Yeah.
You know, like the success of that game was so much that they kept on trying to replicate that, and everything.
It's funny because how you mentioned it. Resident Evil and Call of Duty have this weird thing that's going on right now, where it's like, you know, people really enjoyed like Call of Duty 2 when it came out, like the World War II phenomenon, right? Mm-hmm. And then they had to mix things up, right? That was the same thing that happened. Resident Evil, like 1, 2, and 3 were all very similar games to each other, and then they had to mix it up with 4. And now we're at the point with Resident Evil 7, they actually had to go back to their original roots. And that's what we're seeing with Call of Duty going back to World War II.
Yeah. You see, I didn't even think about that when I was making the comparison. But,
That's an odd series of events for both those series. Wow. But I guess that always happens with long-running series when shit like this happens. But anyway, it's just unfortunate. So honestly, if you're interested in getting the standalone version, it is available to you. I would just say personally, I would say if you really want it, just wait for it to be on sale. Do not buy it at full price because it is not worth it at full price. Like it is, or just don't. No. I'm saying that if you really, really want it and you're gonna buy it anyway, I would say just wait for it for sale price. But if you're on the fence, just don't buy it. Hell, just buy the original Call of Duty. Like just buy original Call of Duty 4. That would be a better purchase overall.
Yeah, if the consoles have backwards compatibility.
Yeah, if they did. But that's a story for another time. But yeah, now we actually have a barrage of questions of the day from our wonderful friend Jay Streets. Shout out to Jay Streets. And his first question is, what is your favorite video game soundtrack? Original soundtrack, please, so games like GTA are out.
This is such an easy one. So first of all, I actually love the fact that he threw in that little GTA nod there, because I want to take us back to one of our first podcasts back when it was me, you, and Kevin, and we were talking about the VGAs or VGXs or whatever.
Yeah.
And at that time, Grand Theft Auto 4 got nominated for.
It was 5. It was 5. What? GTA 5 was the one that got nominated for Best Soundtrack.
Oh, yeah, of course it was 5, yeah. It's funny, 5 has been out for... Anyway, whatever. Yeah, GTA 5 was nominated for and won Best Soundtrack at the VGAs. And I went on a rant on the podcast about how Hotline Miami... I mean, first of all, GTA did not deserve to win because it's not an original soundtrack. Mm-hmm. But also how Hotline Miami not only did not win, didn't even get nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Which is to say that Hotline Miami is my favorite soundtrack. Now, Dark Souls 3 probably comes in close behind this, but Hotline Miami, easy. Like, I used to listen to this stuff I still listen to this stuff while I'm editing. I used to listen to it while I was studying. It's just perfect, like Like the soundtrack made the game. Like you take the soundtrack out of that game, and I probably don't even finish it. It's a fun game, but I probably don't finish it. The soundtrack, it was just so perfect.
It's so perfect.
I love everything about this game's soundtrack. Like the Miami Disco song, the Inner Animal. Oh my God! Like the credits. So I actually sat down and I watched the entire credits because
the song was so good. Yeah.
Yeah, you finish the last mission, and then like the credits the music starts sneaking in, and then it fades, and then the credits start playing. I just sat there and I watched the credits, man. Like Hotline Miami's soundtrack is just perfect. I love it so much, and it's hands down my favorite video game soundtrack. Like it's not even close.
Yeah. This is a hard question for me because there's so many great soundtracks to games. I love just listening to video game soundtracks because there's so many good ones that I could pick out. But if I have to think of the ones that like mean a lot to me, I know what my answer is going to probably be. But sorry?
Dark Souls.
No, it's actually not Dark Souls. Dark Souls has a good soundtrack, but okay, I want to give the runner up because I personally think because I'm thinking of soundtracks that I think every track is pretty much perfect, and I would have to actually give shout outs to Nier, the first one, because the soundtrack of that game, every single track is borderline perfect. Like it's shocking, and it's one of those things where it's like the game itself is like a 6. But the soundtrack is an 11. Like the soundtrack is so good that's how I always tell. It's like, you know how you got a good soundtrack is when I'm listening to it, on YouTube, just on the fly, just whenever I'm bored. That's a good sign of a good soundtrack. But honestly, I'd probably give it to Ocarina because Ocarina of Time. Because I can memorize, I know all of the tracks by heart, and the tracks are so good that pretty much they've been reiterating them for the last 10 years. So I really, really like, because Ocarina of Time is another one that I think is just absolutely fantastic for just for what it is at the time, especially. Because the thing that's always trouble with me is because there's so many there's different types of soundtracks that I can listen to depending. Like there's dramatic soundtracks that have very orchestral stuff. There's chiptune soundtracks. Like I could probably talk about Sonic 2. Like Sonic 2's music is the shit, and I love it. But I don't know. This is a really hard question for me because I have a lot of favorites. But I want to definitely give shout outs to the Nier soundtrack, Ocarina of Time, and also all of the Super Giant games. Super Giant games in particular, I think have pretty much perfect soundtracks. So that's like Bastion and Transistor.
Okay.
Bastion's credits song. You're talking about how you listen to the credits all the way through for Hotline Miami. That's what I am with Bastion. Bastion's credit song is perfect. And I think more people need to listen to that guy's work because it's really good. I don't know. This is a really hard question for me because it's like I love them all equally, basically.
it's like you don't get to choose you can only pick between my children right now.
Yeah, it's like I love Ocarina of Time and Sonic 2 for the nostalgia, but soundtracks like friggin' Nier are perfect, and it's like ugh. I don't know.
Funny a bit of trivia about Ocarina of Time. Mm-hmm. It's the highest rated game on Metacritic ever.
Oh yeah, no, that's a surprise.
No, it has a 99 out of 100. The highest rated video game. It's one of the highest rated. It's the highest rated video game of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No. It was a very influential game when it came out, and it's a big part of my childhood because it was I think it was the first Zelda game I ever played. I think it was. I think
that's the same for me actually.
Yeah. So and I had a lot of fun memories.
No. What am I talking about? Link Between Worlds. Come on, Force.
Wow. Wait, you played Link Between Worlds? Wait, no. Are you saying Link to the Past or Link Between
Worlds? Link to the Past.
Link to the Past, because I was like, the first Zelda game I played, Link Between Worlds. You mean the game that came out in 2014?
Link to the Past. One of my homies. Yeah, he had it on Super Nintendo, and we come over and we played a little bit. I've actually never finished a Zelda video game. I haven't finished a lot of Nintendo games because I've never owned a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
But yeah, good times. Anyway.
But that's my answer, I guess, is that a mix between like Ocarina, definitely Nier, especially, is near the top. But our next question of the day is, what is your all-time favorite E3 moments?
Okay, this is also an easy one for me. So let me set the scene for you. So I'm back home. I'm chilling with my little brother.
I know this one. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, most of you guys listening probably know where I'm going with this, but whatever. So I'm chilling with my little brother. I'm watching the EA press conference because this was back in a darker time of my life. So anyway, EA just like, oh yeah, we got this new game that we want to show you. The screen goes black. I see some snow. I'm like, okay, Then I hear the iconic sound of those blasters, and I'm like, oh, okay, so it's a Star Wars game. And then the camera pans around, you see a ship crashing, and for a split second, I'm like, could it be? Then the camera pans top, you see an AT-AT, or I don't know how many.
Yeah, AT-AT, yeah.
Yeah, it steps on the camera, goes black, Star Wars Battlefront. Me and my little brother lost it. Like, everything about that scenario was just perfect. My dad had to come downstairs to make sure that something hadn't happened because my little brother was chilling on the stairs. He was watching from the stairs. I was sitting on the sofa, and then once that thing came up, we both ran, hugged each other, started hopping around in circles and yelling. And then my dad comes downstairs, tells us to shut up. And then a couple of years, because this is real life and this isn't a Hollywood movie, there are no happy endings. A couple of months later, I play the beta and the game is complete shit. But hey,
but at the time, that's a good moment. Well, as far as like one that I got to experience, I think my favorite is when I was sitting next to my friend on my laptop. He invited me over, and I'm like, I'm watching E3. We can just play and talk. And he's like, I'm like, all right, we're watching Sony conference. All right, this is pretty cool. Oh, that Final Fantasy 15 trailer was pretty solid. And I was like, oh, what's this showing next? Oh, it's the Kingdom Hearts collection. Oh, okay, cool. It's just the Kingdom Hearts collection. Okay, whatever. And then the trailer continues, and then I see, wow, this looks really good for a remaster. This looks like PS4 quality. And then I see a Keyblade that I have never seen before, and I'm like, that's not in any of the other games. And then I go, no. And I'm grabbing my friend Alex, and I'm shaking around. No, this can't be happening. You're not doing it. This is not going to happen. And then I'm just waiting for it. I'm like, is this 3? Is this really literally going to be 3? And when the title card dropped, I freaking lost it. I was so happy because I've been waiting for 3 for like 10 years. So that was definitely one that I can personally think about that got me super, super excited. And I like the fake out because I thought, oh, this is just the remaster. This is just the collection because there's no way this is going to be 3. So that was definitely, but I think as far as like the ones that not that I got to personally experience, but one that I think is definitely one of my favorites is probably when Nintendo announced Twilight Princess at their E3 all those years ago. And you can still find footage of this because it's amazing. If you watch the crowd loses their shit because it's the first like kind of like closer realistic kind of Zelda game, darker colors, more like, a rated T Zelda game, right? And the crowd is going nuts. And the trailer's awesome. It's got great music. It shows up one of the cool boss fights. And then right as the trailer ends, Shigeru Miyamoto walks on stage and he's got the friggin' sword and shield. And it's the best. But that's definitely one of my favorites. I think that's definitely one of my favorites.
As a quick bonus, I want to toss in one of my favorite game show moments. This didn't happen at E3, but it was the first thing that I thought of when I read the question, and that is at BlizzCon. I can't remember what year. Same shit, same shit. Screen goes black. They don't tell you what game it is. This is what I love about game shows. Anyway, they don't tell you what game it is. You see like a prisoner dude. He walks in, steps onto this where the thing. Some armor starts being put on, and as the armor is going on, people start to slowly realize what game it is.
Yeah.
And then, they show flashes, you see some Zerg, you see Protoss, and then he just looks at the camera. Oh, hell, it's about time. StarCraft 2, the whole world loses their shit. And once again, a couple years later, the game comes out and it's disappointing, but whatever.
I enjoyed the game, but I have to admit that trailer was perfect. That trailer was so perfect because it's just even me not knowing when that trailer came out, knowing the little that I did about StarCraft 2, I was like, "That's a good goddamn trailer."
That was such a good trailer. That and then the final lines, hey. It's about time. Oh my! It just summed everything up. Yeah, man.
It's a good one. Yeah, definitely. Those are some of our favorites for sure. Next quick one. What game or games would you love to see get a Netflix adaptation?
This is an odd one. Unlike the other ones that I just have like an instantaneous answer. I'm not sure. Because for video games, for television adaptations, the reason why I generally actually watch more TV shows than movies now is because while TV shows don't have access to like the special effects types of budgets that a movie does, they with more long form, they have more time to build up the characters, right?
Yeah.
If it was up to me, in an ideal world, movies wouldn't. We generally let's not say movies wouldn't exist. That's a little extreme. But
this is more of an off tangent thing, but basically the thing about TV nowadays is that because we're getting a lot of really well written shows that because they can't have special effects, they can't have like big budget action scenes, they can't have like flashy scenes in general, they have to rely on other techniques and substance. They do. And that's why a lot of TV shows are coming out that are really well written, because they have to rely on you giving a crap about the characters. Whereas there's a lot of movies in which you could just there's some movies that you're going in that it's like, okay, this is going to be a really fun dumb action movie, and that's that. It's also another problem with movies I find is that it's very difficult to get your message across. You have to be really talented to get your message across in a timely fashion, or get like character motivations across in a timely fashion. In which, when you're watching a TV show, they can take its time. It can take its time to like slow you the development of like how this character came to make this particular decision and whatnot. Whereas a movie, you have like an hour and a half to maybe like 2.5 hours to do so, and sometimes you can get really bad results because of that. Because I find pacing is a lot harder to do in a movie than it is to do in a TV show. At least personally.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's for me. It's like there's a couple examples I can think of. We'll see how. I'm very excited for the Castlevania one because that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
And I want to see how that does because I'm more interested in seeing. I want to see 2D animated video game adaptations.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I want to see more like I think the Castlevania one is a really cool idea. I know this was rumors a long time ago about the Zelda one. I would actually like to see a Zelda one, but it'd be, maybe 2D animated but properly animated. Not like those CDI animations.
Oh my god, what was the line? I can't remember the line. Oh, there's a line that's always.
Which one? I can't wait to bomb some Dodonkos. That's the one.
Oh my god. Actually, you know what? I just thought about it. For me, StarCraft. well, StarCraft or Warcraft, but probably I'll go with
StarCraft. I think StarCraft. Yeah, if they had an animated StarCraft show, that would be
Yeah,
super cool.
yeah. Since we already have a Warcraft movie, I'll go with StarCraft. I think StarCraft has a lot of elements that would lend themselves really well to a TV show. You know, you have characters with deep motivations. You have a big sprawling universe. They can always market it as like, oh, Game of Thrones in space, because that's how you market everything now. It's like, oh, it's Game of Thrones, but with cheese.
With cheese. Wait, when you say cheese, do you mean like cheese as in like drama cheese or like actual cheese? It's Game of Thrones with giant stacks of cheese, balderdash and mozzarella. That's the best.
I just found it funny. You know, that's how like almost every show. They're like, oh, it's Game of Thrones with pirates. Oh, it's Game of Thrones in space. So I'm just like, they just throw everything on it and they just call it Game of Thrones. I'm like, there's no similarities here with Game of Thrones other than the fact that there's human beings and people get murdered. But yeah. Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna lock into StarCraft. StarCraft as my answer. I've always felt like Blizzard writes some of the best characters, and television is a really good home for well-written characters because you have a lot more episodes for character development and all that jazz.
Yeah. Actually, you know what would be great? An animated, like 2D animated version of Overwatch.
Oh yeah, actually, I'm not so sure.
You think it's more lenient to the shorts, or?
I think it, and people always talking about, oh my God, Blizzard, please make these longer, right? But if you actually think about it, and this goes back to what I said about StarCraft, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you need depth in your characters, right? The reason why a lot of the Overwatch stuff works is because they're short. A lot of the characters in Overwatch are very simple. Now, to be fair, they might be simple because they've only been put in really, really short shorts.
Yeah. And I know that there's characters that have a lot more development in the comics. So, like... Well, like, is for me, it's like... I like, the characters are simple, but they work, and they are successful, and they kind of... They kind of interact with each other in interesting ways. I don't know. Yeah. I want to see the Reinhardt Anna show, because that would be awesome. I just want to see
the Reinhardt Anna show.
Yes, I want to see like just Reinhardt and Anna adventures, because that would be fantastic to me.
Yeah, honestly, oh my God, now you sold it. Now you sold me. Like just listening to Anna Reinhardt at 76, the old people.
Yes. Yes. Everything about that is amazing. I love it.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I guess at Overwatch.
It might work.
Yeah.
But
there you go. I go with StarCraft, half Overwatch. So pretty much, since I originally said StarCraft, so I guess I'll just go with a Blizzard.
A Blizzard title. Yeah, I know.
They just locked that in. Yeah.
And then our last question is, this is a good one. We've been very harsh to many developers that have shown sketchy, in quotations, business moves for the last couple of years. What publishers or parent companies would you highlight as a real cause of some of these maneuvers?
Oh, this is an easy one. So first of all, EA.
Yeah.
So I guess I jumped the gun a little when I called Activision Satan, because that would imply that they're the root of all evil, which I disagree with, and I say Electronic Arts is actually the root of all evil in video gaming. EA. EA are the originators of annualized releases. I might be mistaken. There might be a company that did it before them, but they are the ones who popularized it.
Yep.
Period. Prior to EA, were the only, prior to Activision and Ubisoft and all these other companies doing this bullshit. EA were the ones who released FIFA every single year, NBA every single year, NFL every single year. The games had like minor updates, and somehow they felt comfortable charging us full price for it.
Yeah.
So bam, first of all, we'll put EA right there. Now, pre-order bonuses. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who popularized this, but I feel inclined to say Activision because they're.
Yeah, I don't know where it started, but I know that I think it was both Activision and EA that were at the forefront of the pre-order bonuses. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty damn sure. And because I know that Call of Duty pre-order bonuses were definitely a thing that was happening all the time. And that was a bigger issue. And I know Ubisoft jumped on board relatively quickly. Although I can't fucking fathom how they're selling $1,000 copy of fucking Assassin's Creed Origins. It's so goddamn stupid. But getting back to while you're doing your researching, getting back to sketchy business, the reason why I'm particularly getting really fed up with EA's business practices is because they actively fuck over their games. Like, they actively fuck over games that could potentially Oh no, I'm gonna get to that, especially with recent news that pissed me off. So basically,
yes.
Okay, so basically the first thing I want to point out, let's talk about the first one, Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2 got completely fucked with its release date. Yes. And there was no reason for that game to come out at the time it did. And it sucks because that game is actually fantastic. And if it had released at a different time, the game probably would have lasted longer and it probably would have been a lot more successful. And that's a real shame because, Respawn are really good. And the fact that EA just said, fuck it, we'll just release it at the worst possible time, it sucks. It really sucks. Now, with Andromeda's case, it's not even that EA also just release it early, whatever. We'll just release it. We'll fix it later. And they ended up releasing the game way too early, and it hurt the game so much that it's so unfortunate because there's so much potential with Andromeda, and it got completely destroyed by that release date. And the also other fact that I fucking hate with the recent news is that part of the reason why there's a lot of bugs and glitches in Andromeda is because they pulled people off the team. They pulled people off the BioWare team that was working on Andromeda to start working on Anthem before they finished Andromeda. So basically and that's why I'm gonna always have the bitter taste sweet with Anthem from now on, because now I can attribute Anthem's production to why Andromeda was such a fucking shit show at launch. And that really sucks. And that's why I personally think EA's business practices are I personally think that they're the worst, because I can't think of any other company that has been actively fucking over games like EA has. Even good games. You can argue that Capcom is lazy with their release titles, but I don't think they actively fuck their good games as badly as EA does. Personally. If anything, then Capcom is definitely a close contender for shitty practices, but EA is the king, in my opinion. Well, so EA is your answer too, I guess?
Yeah, EA. Yeah. The one thing, because I'm still doing research and I couldn't find this, but who started the shitty DLC? Actually, Bethesda. You know, it's really funny. It's really funny that they. When you were ranting about their press conference a couple podcasts ago, I came to the realization that Bethesda has finally gone over to the dark side.
Yes.
You know? They finally started killing younglings. That's they've made their full transition. Mm-hmm. You know, those were there. You know, we saw the signs of darkness in them when they gave us Horse Armor with Oblivion. That was one of the first really shitty DLCs that we ever got on consoles. Anyway, I can't talk for PC. Horse Armor was one of the first, right? It's funny because Horse Armor doesn't even seem that bad now compared to a lot of shit that we get now, which is really sad when you think about it. Yeah. But yeah, man, watching that press conference, I could just hear CD Projekt Red yelling, "You were the chosen one." You know, you were supposed to.
You were just supposed to destroy the evil companies, not join them.
Bring balance to the video game industry, not throw it in darkness.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I give EA credit, it's quote unquote credit for starting annual releases. EA and Activision credit for pre-order bonuses, and Bethesda credit for shitty DLC practices. So that is my holy, or in this case,
the Holy
Trinity.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah.
But yeah, those are my answers.
Yeah, but those were some good questions. Good questions, J Streets. Good. And if you got a question for us, don't forget to leave it in the comment section. And we'll make sure to answer it in the next podcast. And as always, this is your host, Room Liberty, and...
Boaz Muhammad.
And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.